Look at the forecast tonight. The Weather Authority's meteorologist, Michelle McCormick, joining us now. Michelle, kind of a gloomy start to the work week, but we're also keeping an eye on those tropics.
Yeah, we're going to definitely talk tropics for a moment here and get that out of the way. Then we're going to talk about the rest of your week later on now. This is the wave that we're watching, Invest 95 right now. And then we're also keeping our eye on the Yucatan, the Bay of Yucatan, right through here between Mexico and the Yucatan Peninsula, through Texas, the southern part of the Gulf. There's a 10% chance of any tropical activity through that area. So this is what we're talking about. This area right here, likely to be our next depression right now. Invest 95, our next name storm will be Jerry, easy enough. Could develop in this area here, this black or this blob of red. So that's the area of development. Jacksonville's way over here. Now, the one thing that could do is increase our rip current risk, which is already in the high zone anyway. And then here's that 10% area of formation in the very southern part of the Gulf. So the tropical models for Invest 95 shaping up like this and gearing up to make a big turn right toward the bullseye of Bermuda yet again. So we're way out, way far. This is on Sunday. So several days between now and Sunday in what we could possibly see our next named storm, which again will be Jerry. Coming back in just a little bit, we'll talk more about what you can expect for the week here locally.
All righty. Thank you, Michelle. A reminder, you can download the Weather Authority app for live radar, interactive maps, and forecasts from our meteorologists. Once you have it, turn on notifications for alerts in your exact location, no matter where you are. You can find it now. Just search WJXT in your app store.
And more at the South Bank Tower camera. Look at it. There's all sorts of things going on here at the bank, and we were all just cheering a moment ago, but it is lit up here, and just a beautiful evening all around. It is 76 degrees outside and the moon is full. The humidity though is still high, but a nice breeze in the bank never hurt. At least it's not blazing hot, which is what we're used to this time of year at the bank. All right, on the radar, no rain, really. There's some little spots of rain coming on shore, it looks like, through St. Johns County, but little moving on very quickly through the area. This is all ground clutter, but we still have our coastal flood advisories in effect across the entire area with our high rip current risk. And then we also have our coastal flood warning for areas south of St. John's in the river area, with the opportunity for some coastal flooding during the high tide, which was about 2 hours ago. So we'll continue to watch that as the winds continue out of the north and out of the east. But check out the temperatures across the area. Quite nice, pleasant all around, mid to upper 70s. Here is a gorgeous shot. Thank you, Isaac, for popping this one up. Jacksonville Beach are just focused on this beautiful full moon. I actually posted a picture earlier of the blimp and the full moon in the same picture. It was really cool. So it's the harvest moon, and temperatures throughout the evening will drop, and they'll stay in that mid 70-degree range. Now the wind speeds, though, not too bad. A little windier out at the beaches where you can be expected. The winds directly out of the east, keeping that rip current risk high, that high surf advisory as well. And that's going to be sticking around throughout the next few days. And the gust, yeah, so up to 20-mile-per-hour gusts at the airport, close to 20 out at the beaches. And again, gusty conditions will continue. High temperatures for tomorrow, though, a little bit warmer. Today we hit 84. If you can notice a 2-degree difference, we'll have a lot more sunshine tomorrow, and temperatures in the mid to upper 80s in some spots. 89 for Palatka. We're looking at 87 in Gainesville, even 86 in southeast Georgia. So it should be a very pleasant day tomorrow all around. Now, the 7-day forecast, this is what I want to talk to you about. So we mentioned fall-like feels coming up. So the next few days, rains taper off, some overnight showers into tomorrow. Then look at what happens on Wednesday, 88 degrees. Now, if we actually hit 90 degrees on Wednesday, we would tie the all-time record of the most days at or above 90 degrees. So 88 could become 90 if we have a nice amount of sunshine. Then what happens Thursday going into Friday? A cold front. So this cold front's going to come through. It's really going to make a difference. And this difference you'll feel from the mid 80s to the upper 70s. Right. Yeah. So the end of, it's only, wait, not even the end of October. It's the middle of October in the upper 70s. And then we stay in that range for the weekend. So nice, dryish weekend ahead of us, which will be quite nice after the weekend we had this past weekend.
Michelle, thank you.
What is happening with our forecast?
All right, we have a beautiful harvest moon. It's the first of 4 super moons. and it is shining high and bright with very few clouds in the skies. When we come back, we'll tell you what you can expect for the rest of your week. Bank Stadium from our South Bank Tower camera, looking across the river. Every now and then I see the river taxi kind of float on by and bringing people back to wherever they parked down the river. But it is a gorgeous night for Monday Night Football, and we look great on TV because our weather is perfect right now. It's 76 degrees outside. It's really nice out. The winds are out of the northeast at 6. The humidity, though, really not even a factor right now, because earlier today when there was some humidity, it felt sticky as those clouds were starting to part. So I love showing the Doctors Lake Marina camera, especially when we're talking about high tides and king tides and astronomical tides, which is what we're seeing with the full moon, because this parking lot really does give a good indication of the water coming in off the river and filling up this parking lot. High tide was a couple hours ago, so we're starting to see it. It's not nearly as high as it has been over the weekend, and here we definitely still have the coastal flood warning. It's part of this area of St. Johns County and Clay County, the area here in green through tomorrow, actually now through Wednesday at 5 a.m. And then the areas here in the lighter blue, those are our coastal flood advisories. And we still have the high rip current risk. So still very dangerous conditions. Out at our area beaches, just enjoy the view from the sand. All right, temperatures across the area, quite pleasant. If you still have to take the dog out for a walk on a commercial break, go ahead. 78 degrees in Orange Park, 75 in McClenny. It's 79 up in Brunswick. Feeling good down there in our southern counties as well, in the upper 70s. And the winds still a little bit brisk across the area, right? So we were showing you downtown was out of the northeast at 6, and we have this easterly wind along our beaches still at 14, 15 miles per hour, but the gusty conditions still a factor. We'll have these winds with us throughout tomorrow as well, in the 20s, the low 20s for gusts out at the beach, and then in the teens inland at the airport. So the hourly forecast looking like this throughout the morning time. This 20% chance of rain, it's really going to be scattered, and 82 by noon. So it's going to be drier and warmer tomorrow with a high of 86. It's going to feel a little bit warmer. We're going to have more sunshine to really get out there for your Tuesday. So take a look what happens over the next few days. We get warm before we cool down. A cold front pushes through. It's going to bring in the windy conditions yet again, increasing Thursday and Friday, but our temperatures give us a fall-like feel with highs in the 80s. So I want to talk about what's happening in the tropics. We're still in the middle of hurricane season, and this is our next possible wave that's developing. And then we also are watching a wave here in the southern part of the Gulf. So let's show you what this is. This wave right here is possibly the next depression, tropical depression, and then if named will become Jerry. This formation has a 90% chance over the next 7 days, an 80 to 90% chance over the next 2 to 7 days of development in this section right here. And then it looks like it's going to make a turn towards Bermuda. This is that area in the Gulf that we're watching with a 10% chance of tropical development. So here's the tropical model for Invest 95, which was that wave there, and lots of these models turning away from us, which seems to be a nice trend that we're enjoying during this hurricane season. Coming back in just a little bit, I am going to tell you all about the weather that we're experiencing tonight, the beautiful full moon that's out there, and what you can expect this week and into the weekend ahead.
Alicia, thank you. Michelle, thank you.
Some of us are not here mentally at the moment. You can keep up to date on the progress in the tropics and weather wherever you go by downloading the Weather Authority News app. Just search for News4JAX Weather Authority in the App Store.
All right, in local
as well. Here, you can see where they just lit off all the candles, or no, the cannons, fireworks that went off. That smoke is victory smoke right there, folks. As we take a look from our South Bank Tower camera. All right, then now comes the traffic of people going home, but at least they can roll down the windows and really enjoy that victory on the drive home. 76 degrees, east wind at 5. Feeling pretty nice out there all around. All right, so back to the Doctors Lake Marina camera where we see the high tide coming into the parking lot, and this is much improved than we saw earlier in the week where we had the high tides. Now we have the astronomical tide with the full moon tonight, and this isn't nearly as bad. And we're about 3 hours into high tide right now at this area of Doctors Lake Marina. So just keep in mind we still have the high tide, the the coastal flood warning in effect until Wednesday, the 8th at 5 a.m. And that's the areas here in green, mostly along the river. Down in Satsuma, they've been getting extra high tides, and they're well above where they should be for this time of year. Then the area here in blue, this is the coastal flood advisory, and this is going to be the rip current risk as well for the entire coast, still in that high rip current risk. Across our area beaches, the water is super hazardous. You want to just hang out on the sand. We have a lot of seaweed that's been washing up as well. All right, 76 degrees right now. Officially at the airport, we hit 84 degrees, 79 out at the beaches, 77 in Placa, 75 in Gainesville, 73 right now in McClenny. The winds are 15 to 16 mile per hour with the gusts right now. We were up to 20. Now as we start to get into the overnight hours, the gusts are coming down as well, but the winds continue out of the east, and they will stay that way for the next several days. Now tomorrow, there's this very slight chance of rain. It's going to be very scattered throughout the afternoon. Likely a day with minimal rain, but more sunshine and warming temperatures into the mid to upper 80s across the area. 87 in our southern zones, which is quite nice, almost 90 degrees. Now, if we get to 90 degrees over the next several days, that'll tie a record of 90-degree weather at or above 90 for the year 2025. Now, the record is 114. We're sitting at 113. And Wednesday could be that one October day that we hit that 90-degree weather and we tie that record. But then look what happens. A cold front pushes through. Usually we have the warm weather ahead of the cold front. And then our high on Friday, while pretty nice and maybe a little rainy, the wind's still increasing. Our high is only 79 degrees. What? And then over the weekend, less rain, but really fall-like feels across the entire area for our weekend ahead. So great news about the Jaguars. Congrats to them. Safe travels home, and roll down the windows and enjoy the weather.
All right, thanks.